Welcome to Movie Recap, a channel dedicated to those addicted to movies. Our focus is to showcase the best recap of your favorite flick. Sit back, grab your popcorn, and get ready to be amazed by Boyka Undisputed. After he accidentally kills his opponent, underground fighter Yuri Boyka questions everything he stands for and tries to win the freedom of the dead man's wife through a series of fights. Spoilers ahead. After the events at Gorgon, several months have passed, and Yuri Boyka is now a free man with a new manager by the name of Kirill. He became a well-known donor to the church, but he continues to be drawn to a series of illicit underground fights held in Kiev, Ukraine because he frequently wishes to compete as an official MMA fighter as he waits for a chance to do so. Boyka is convinced that he will win the match after his manager, Kirill, finds him a legitimate match that will provide the victor a chance to compete against the official MMA fighters in Budapest. It was well known that his opponent was a renowned Russian boxer by the name of Victor, who approached every battle with the same zeal as Boyka. However, before the fight starts, Kirill cautions Boyka about his opponent's passion for fighting and doubts his ability. However, his overwhelming confidence does not stop him from completing his ambitions as he states that all the fighters have the same eagerness as him to win. The fight begins with both competitors showcasing their abilities in an effort to keep the crowd entertained. Up until Boyka managed to knee Victor in the face, knocking him unconscious, they fought quite equally. The last time Victor tried to stand up, Boyka promptly knocked him out, forcing him to stay down and concede the battle. When Victor finally managed to rise up, Boyka continued to pound him until he passed out in the ring, effectively ending the fight. Boyka became concerned after the battle and asked Kirill about Victor's condition the following day when he saw the man's body, which appeared to be severely injured and was being carried on a stretcher. When he hears of his passing, he asks Victor right away whether he still has any living relatives whom he can help. He discovered in Victor's assets that Victor had a wife by the name of Alma. After learning this, he ordered Kirill to make a false passport so he could swiftly travel to Russia to meet Alma. Following Alma to her job as a waitress in a clandestine fighting club owned by a crime leader named Zurab. When Boyka first arrived in Russia, he saw her getting picked up in a van at a community center and followed her there. Boyka approached Alma after learning that she had been working for Zurab, but he was escorted outside the club where he started a battle with Zurab's security guards and battered them until Zurab intervened. Boyka recently met Alma at a community center to talk about what happened to Victor. Boyka offered Alma Victor's winnings as payment, but Alma sent Boyka there because of her fury and grief. Boyka then arrives at Zurab's club to negotiate a fight for him in return for Alma's freedom. Zurab reluctantly agrees to the contract, which calls for Boyka to compete in 3 straight battles under his rule with Igor Kazimir, with the winner being decided in the third match, with the outcome of the last match being decided. Boyka was escorted to a nearby gym by Slava, one of Zurab's guards, once the agreement came to an end so he could prepare for the approaching fight. The following morning, Boyka was aggressively accosted by Alma. However, their chat was abruptly cut short when a member of Zurab's security detail entered the scene. As he enters the training facility, one fighter advances on him and repeatedly taunts him until Boyka finally knocks him out with a single kick, leaving the other fighters in a state of shock. Boyka competed in his first match that evening and won by technical knockout. However, before delivering the decisive strike, Boyka originally quit fighting the opponent because it was already over. After the game, Boyka approached Alma for a drink and asked if there was another place to train. She grudgingly suggested that he do it at the community center. Boyka asked Alma if the training had hindered her work when he first came to the community center to train. Alma responded that she missed it and said that Victor had never stopped training before his death. Boyka was surprised when the second match, against the Ozerov brothers, began in the evening because he had already played 2 opponents. Using their numbers as their major strategy against Boyka, the brothers gained an early advantage in the fight. The fight was tough, and one opponent managed to hurt Boyka's lower back. However, Boyka, who is more seasoned, outclasses the other fighter and knocks out both of them to win. He enthusiastically accepts Alma's offer to give him a back massage following the bout. Boyka begs Alma to go to town if necessary, but Alma is unable to do so because the community center depends on her, and without her, the kids there would be in gangs or worse. As a result, Alma departs with the ointment she promised for Boyka's back. Kirill phones Boyka in the morning to inform her of the impending event in Budapest, where he has been granted just until 9:45 p.m. to reach the last bus stop. Boyka and Igor were due to face off in the supposedly final match. The two fought fairly until Igor managed to land a blow on Boyka's damaged back, temporarily rendering him incapacitated. Boyka wins the bout by knocking Igor out with 2 concussive hits to the head. During the tussle, Boyka manages to take the lead and show Igor his superior skills. Boyka was stopped by Zurab as he headed to his locker to collect his belongings for Budapest, telling him that he had to fight his champion, Koshmer. Boyka objects, but Zurab implores him to accede since else they cannot come to a compromise. Boyka phones Kirill in response and informs him that he had to cancel the trip at 9:45 p.m., leaving him with only till the last bus stop at 10 p.m. After accepting the challenge, Boyka waits in the ring for the decisive contest. The final match began when Koshmer came a short while later. Boyka is repeatedly knocked out by knee strikes from Koshmer, but as the fight goes on, Boyka's wounded back is accidentally slammed by Koshmer with a suplex, leaving him limp. Boyka briefly fell on the ground but then got back up. This time, Boyka used a new strategy to defeat his far more powerful opponent. Boyka broke Koshmer's left arm and wounded his left leg during the fight, leaving Koshmer defenseless and exposed. Koshmer was knocked out of the ring with an overhead kick delivered by Boyka, giving Boyka the victory. Boyka is too late to travel to Budapest because it is already after 10 p.m. After winning the fight, the tough Zurab refuses to accept the arrangement he made with Alma and sends the 2 of his men to beat Boyka until he is incapacitated. However, Boyka got up and charged at his guards, charging them after being injured in the arm and the leg during the struggle, and he ultimately killed Slava and his men. Boyka comes across him, and Zurab threatens to murder Alma if Boyka doesn't put the pistol down. When Boyka doesn't have an option, Boyka throws the gun, and as Zurab is about to shoot Boyka, Boyka reprimands him for breaking their agreement. Boyka had a chance to approach because Alma bit his hand, but he was still able to shoot Boyka in the abdomen. Boyka approaches Zurab unfazed and eventually chokes him to death. Boyka becomes exhausted after the brief altercation with Zurab and begs Alma for forgiveness for her husband's passing. Alma doesn't react. Boyka was detained just before being transferred to his old Russian prison. Boyka received a visit from Alma 6 months after the event, telling him that she had finally made amends. Boyka returns to his old habits as the king of jail fighters, feeling relieved and pursuing the title of most complete fighter in the world. We really hope you enjoyed today's recap of Boyka Undisputed. Please leave a comment below on what you loved about the movie and why. Be sure to like the video and please don't forget to support our channel by subscribing so you don't miss any amazing content. Until next time, lights, camera, action.